it's called A Cowboy's Life. He was born on a ranch and raised in the hills. Always roping some cattle, 'cause he loves how it feels. He never watches TV or plays video games, 'cause he spends all his time riding the range. Can you hear him singing Whoop-a-die-yi-yo, or the song they call Strawberry Road? He loves to whistle to a coyote's howl, as in the dark of the night he sings alone. He loves his family and he loves his horse, picking guitar and fiddling, of course. He'll never tell you a lie, and that's for sure, 'cause he's an honest cowboy. I wish there were more. Can you hear him singing Whoop-a-die-yi-yo, or the song they call Strawberry Road? He loves to whistle to a coyote's howl, as in the dark of the night he sings alone. Well, Joe was near 90 when he passed away. But before he died, on his last day, he picked up his old guitar with his withered hands and played one more song, and this is what he sang. I've lived many years, but now my time has come. I've rode lots of horses and raised the family I love. My sons are grown and have left our home. They're honest and kind, with families of their own. And my sweet wife, she's in heaven, waiting for me to finally come home. Standing next to my horse, a strawberry roan. Can you hear him singing Whoop-a-die-yi-yo, or the song they call Strawberry Road? He loves to whistle to a coyote's howl, as in the dark of the night he sings alone. Now it's the dark of the night, he's not singing alone. Let's see. Well, this next one is called Cinderella Cowgirl. She traded her glass slippers for a pair of cowboy boots. She's wearing faded blue jeans and a brand new pearl snap shirt. She got tired of her crown getting tangled in her hair. Now she wears a Stetson hat as she saddles up her mare. Cinderella's now a cowgirl and happy by surprise. One day she was dreaming of a simple happy life. The balls and the banquets couldn't fill her heart inside, but she found what she was looking for when she took her first ride. Well, her prince became a cowboy, and he's roping up some steers, and the watch the setting sun, sipping gold homemade root beers. bippity-boppity-boo. Cinderella's the whack-out girl and happy by surprise. One day she was dreaming of a simple happy life. The balls and the penguins couldn't feel her heart inside, but she found what she was looking for when she took her first ride. Yeah, she found what she was dreaming of when she took her first ride.
Well, a couple days ago, we got some sad news that one of the greatest cowboy poets ever, Baxter Black, had passed away. And while I always wanted to meet Baxter, I never got the opportunity to do that. But I learned one of his poems a few years ago that's about a young cowboy and an old cowboy who's seeing the end of his days. And I'd like to do that poem in memory of Baxter Black. Goodbye, old man. Somewhere deep in the old man's eyes, a memory took a hold that fought the ageless undertow that drains and mocks the old. I wiped a dribble off his chin. Pops, tell me what you see. It's all the boys I rode with. I think they've come for me. Unconsciously, I checked the door. It's nothing but the wind. You better try and get some rest. Tomorrow we'll go in. Is that you, Bob? I can't quite tell. You're mounted mighty well. You never rode a horse that good when we were raising hell. Lie down, old man. There's no one here. No, wait. That looks like Clyde. He helped me put old Blue to sleep. Why, heck, he even cried. Now don't forget to check the salt. Them cows will drift back down. Well, I'll be darned. There's Augustine. He worked here on the Brown when I hired on to Buckaroo, but that's been 50 years. The old man squinched a rheumy eye. I dabbed away the tears. The boss had told me that he was old, had seen a lot of springs. I bet you if you peeled his bark, you'd count near 80 rings. And we'd rode the last 3 summers, here together on the rim, just he and I, for puncher's pay, and I'd learned a lot from him. But now I'm sitting here by his bed, uncertain what to do. I ain't no good at nursing coots. Why, heck, I'm only 22. Well, I reckon that I'm ready now. My friends are set to go. They've got an extra mount cut out. That's just for me, I know. You've got to stop this foolish talk. You shouldn't overdo. Pops, all you need is a good night's sleep. Tomorrow you'll be good as new. Don't make it complicated, kid. Cut a pal some slack. The saddle on that extra horse, that's my old weathered cack. I'm coming, Bob. I'll be right there. The old man winked a misty eye, then tried to reach up for his hat, but then died without a sigh. I'll tell you, man, it freaked me out. I dang near came in two. I'd never watched a person die, especially one I knew. I tried to say a little prayer, but all I knew was grace, so I just said, "Goodbye, old man," and covered up his face. I poured myself the bitter dregs and stood out on the step. Alone, I listened to the night, as still as death, except I thought that I could hear, over the coffee a-sloshing in my cup, the far-off, easy, pleasured sound of old friends a-catching up. Now, this is my second bear poem, and Sonny Hancock wrote this poem, but he got the idea for this one from S. Omar Barker's poem that I said earlier tonight. So this is kind of like the second part of it, the bear's tail. I was working up in the Sycam Black Hills camp, working for the old Z Cross. This was my own piece of country. I was cook, crew, and boss. And as I recall, the afternoon of that year was a-comin' around, which meant summer'd hit the Cap Rock and slid right down into fall. The days was warm and pleasant, though the nights were kinda sharp, but I had a snug little cabin to keep the cold wind off my tarp. The aspen leaves were a-turnin' yellow, and the bees were a-buzzin' around the hive, and it was just one of them days when it was great to be alive. I'd been riding along that morning, looking out beneath my hat, figured I'd make a little circle down through Silver Dollar Flat, and maybe brand some big slick yearling with the address of this farm, 'cause I sure did need to limber up my stiff old roping arm. And I'd been just kinda traveling through this little open draw when I came around a corner, and I was amazed at what I saw. I pulled my horse up and sat there a-gawkin'. My eyes went plumb agog, 'cause there's a big old brindle he-bear sitting there digging ants out of a log. Well, my heart commenced a-poundin', and I couldn't quite get enough air, 'cause I knew I'd never have a better chance to rope myself a bear. Well, I was trying to get my rope jerked down, but my horse began to dance. But hell, old Bruin hadn't seen me. He's still a-busy digging ants. I got my rope tied hard and solid, so I said a little prayer, then let out a big old cowboy war whoop and built right into that bear. Well, the beast heard me a-comin', and he beat it for the trees. There weren't no moss a-growing on him, and he sure did split the breeze. But I fell right in behind him, and just as that Bible story told, I cast my bread upon the water, and it came back 1,000-fold. I pitched my slack right at him, and turned my pony neat, and I heard him grunt as he hit the ground, and I jerked him off his feet. Then I towed him towards the timber, just the way it should be done. Hell, there ain't nothing to it. Roping bears is lots of fun. Then in the timber I got busy, dodging limbs and brush and such, and I ain't had time to check up on my cargo very much. I'm gonna start by breaking him to lead, or at least that's what I hoped. Then I look back and hear that bear come, hand over hand, right up my rope. Well, things sure started looking different, so I tells him, "Okay, Bruin, I'll start paying more attention to this little job I'm doing. I'll just zig and zag and circle some. Now you just follow me, 'cause you're about to meet your maker on some big old jack pine tree." Well, I zigged and zagged and circled, but it seemed to no avail, and next time I checked, old Teddy's right up behind my horse's tail. And about that time, my horse made a funny little jump, and that bear commenced to climbing up my rope across my horse's rump. Well, I yelled and waved my hat to slap him in the eyes, but that old bear's plumb determined. He's coming right on up where I'm at. Now you know I've knowed lots of people on the hills and plains, but no one ever told me that I was overblessed with brains. But it didn't take no Einstein with no special high IQ, nor no call from God to tell me just what that bear was gonna do. Now I know a coward's way out's a bad one, in most anybody's book, but that's the only route left open now, so that's the one I took. I just bailed off and checked it to him, and a big old rock broke my fall. "Well, boys," I said, "it looks like to me you just bought it all." As they went a-crashing through the timber, why, I realized, of course, that I just lost a darn good saddle, and in the company lost a horse. Now how's a man supposed to tell it when the boss is a-standing there? You just took a plumb good horse and saddle and gave 'em to a bear? Well, these thoughts and lots more like 'em kept a-running through my mind as I went limping down the cow trail, trying to leave that wreck behind. My clothes was sort of tattered, and I'd lost some chunks of hide, but my body wasn't hurting near as bad was my pride. Then I heard a sound back behind me, and it began to swell, back the way I'd just come from. And I wondered, now what the hell? Then I looked back, and I see my horse a-comin', stepping lively down the slope, and that old bear's up in my saddle, got a loop built, a swinging my rope. Thank you.
This song is called Don't Fence Me In. Give me that lots of land under starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. I wanna be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please. Don't fence me in, just turn me loose. Let me straddle by a saddle underneath the western sky. On my cayuse, let me wander over yonder till I see the mountains rise. I wanna ride through the ridge where the west commences. Gaze at the moon until I lose my senses. I can't look at howls and I can't stand fences. Don't fence me in, just turn me loose. Let me straddle by a saddle underneath the western sky. On my cayuse, let me wander over yonder till I see the mountains rise. I wanna ride through the ridge where the west commences. Gaze at the moon until I lose my senses. I can't look at howls and I can't stand fences. Don't fence me in. I can't look at howls and I can't stand fences. Don't fence me in. Thank you. This song's called Cowgirl Yodel. I went down to Texas, got myself a bay, got myself a big man to help along the way. I'm a cowgirl now, I'm a cowgirl now. Learn to make a lasso, learn to work a range. Now I'm riding down the trail, bandana around my face. I'm a cowgirl now, I'm a cowgirl now. Ride out all the prairie, move the herd along. Getting better down tonight and sing my cowgirl song. I got love, love, got love to do. Got love, love, love to, yeah, love. Sun shines in the noon now, rain falls when it may. I just keep on growing on my trusty bay. I'm a cowgirl now, I'm a cowgirl now. Don't know how I ever learned to sleep indoors. Life is so much better out underneath the stars. I got love, love, got love to do. Yeah, love, love, love to, yeah, love. Ride out on the prairie, move the herd along. Getting bedded down tonight and sing my cowgirl song. I got love, love, got love to do. Got love, love, love to, yeah, love. Thank you so much.
This next one is one I wrote about my great-great-grandpa. I was going through an old book of pictures from the past. My family passed them down to me so the memories would last. I came across a young man on horseback soaring stock. Had a look there in his eye, solid as a rock. Mom said he drove a team of oxen, hauling timber to his friends. They settled Teton Valley along a river's bend. Hollywood discovered him, steaming wagons for their films. When I watch him, if I look real hard, I think I still see him. Grandpa Toby's pictures, I can almost know the sage. I dream about the life he lived every time I turn a page. I wonder what he thought about, and I wish that he could see the legacy he left behind and how much he means to me. His sweet wife, Lila, pretty as a yellow rose, settled up her life with him when she was 15 years old. She was a blue-eyed, black-haired beauty from the hills of Idaho. He used to play the fiddle for her as her family sang and danced along. Grandpa Joe Beard's pictures tell 1,000 tales about the kind of man he was when he rode life's trails. I wonder what he thought about, and I wish that he could see the legacy he left behind and how much he means to me. This next one is by Saddle Strings, and it's called Pirates of the Sage. Ringling of the horses, it's the start of a brand new day. Smell the bacon and coffee with a hint of leather and sage. The days are getting shorter, so we pull our saddles up tight. Someone grab these ponies and turn us both outside. They call us fallen angels, pirates of the sage, but we ain't nothing but cowgirls, and we'll be till our dying day. Some folks say we're crazy for living a cowboy's life. No one said it'd be easy, words heard from a cowboy's wife. But we believe in a higher power when we climb let's circle our horses and spend a moment in time for the ones that came before us and the ones that'll come behind. May our saddles all ride easy and the trail be straight and true. But if tomorrow this all should end, heaven needs fallen angels too. They call us fallen angels, pirates of the sage, but we ain't nothing but cowboys, and we'll be till our dying day. Yes, they call us fallen angels, pirates of the sage, but we ain't nothing but cowgirls, and we'll be till we ride away. Be till our dying day. Be till we ride away.
Well, we all went to Tombstone yesterday. I'm sure everyone here's been there. Have any of you guys had any ghost experience while you're there? Well, I ended up having one yesterday, and it wasn't a good one. Because we're eating, and I'm sitting there with my hands below the table, just talking to everyone, but my plate just slides right off the table into my lap. So I ended up going to Tombstone and getting a lap full of coleslaw. This is Mad Jack's Dog by Rod McQuarrie. It was a short and squatty cabin, thick dirt roof and round corral. From a distance, it looked quite interesting, so I decided to stop and rest my horse a spell. From around the corner of the cabin came a wild-eyed old-timer who said his name was Mad Jack Hanks. I shook his hand and told him my name. He said he'd been up there trapping beaver and had the lonesome blues. Before you know it, he offered bed and breakfast if I would share the latest news. Well, I agreed to his proposal. He seemed glad to have me stay. He started rustling up some tableware while I put my horse away. He had some supper going, so I carried in a load of wood. I shared the latest news, and things was going good, till I reached down to pet his dang dog. I truly meant no harm, but before you knew it, that old wolf had bit me on the arm. Mad Jack, I said, why does your dog just stare at me with hate? He said, oh, it's nothing. He's just mad 'cause you're eating off his plate. Thank you, guys. My dad works for the highway department, but the other day he got fired for theft. And I didn't really believe him till I got home and all the signs were there. When I was in Elko at the gathering up there, I saw George Russell perform this poem, and I just had to ask him if I could do it. Turtle Soup. I was sitting in a grand hotel in Denver one fine day. I was heading back to Texas with a pocket full of pay. The waiter offered me some turtle soup, a Brown Palace delicacy, he said. I looked down at that little bowl, and I just shook my head. How many turtles are in there, I asked. I'm more of a steak and potatoes man. 1 turtle makes 10 gallons of soup, sir. It's the finest in the land. Everybody loves it. It's quite the modern fare. We could serve a whole lot more, but turtles here are rare. Then he offered me some matzo ball soup, but I smiled and said, no way. But I might try some other part of the matzah, maybe on some other day. Well, I finally got my porterhouse steak. I ate it all except for the bone. I got out of that fancy place and saddled up for home. As I was riding, I got to figuring about that turtle soup. Well, it only takes one turtle to make 10 gallons of that goop. Well, that's 16 bowls at $10 a piece. Well, that's $1,600 in just one carapace. Now I know I'm just a dumb old cowboy, but I can hear the sound and the word of great big profits from a great big turtle herd. So I started a new roundup. I sold off all my beef. I was heading after terrapins, just as pretty as you please. I climbed upon my cutting horse, and into his sides I spurred. I became an official turtle boy, even though that sounds absurd. I got to where I could rope them, but they'd suck their heads down inside. My rope would slip right off their neck, no matter how many times I tried. By the end of the week, me and the boys had amassed a great big herd. We'd be leaving for Denver in the morning with 5,000 head, so I sent out the word. We saddled up at the break of dawn. We were eager for the trail. Throw open the gates to the turtle corral, and we gave a turtle boy yell. Whoopee! From sun up to sundown, we drove 'em hard, but not so well, 'cause after 3 days of droving, we were finally out of the corral. On the 5th night out, it was calm, but the wind blew up a storm. Lightning and a thunderbolt caused a big alarm. Well, those turtles, they stampeded. There was panic everywhere. We scrambled for our horses as lightning cracked the air. Well, little Jim, he spurred his horse. He was riding for the lead. But his horse, he stumbled, and down he went, right in front of that turtle stampede. Well, the rain came down in torrents, and the lightning came down in streaks. We figured they would trample him to death sometime in about a week. Well, the next morning, the rain had quit. The herd was still intact. Little Jim was a little stove up with a stone bruise on his back. That night I got to figuring again, and it brought me almost to tears when I realized that to get my herd to Denver, it'd take about 30 years. Well, that night I dreamed of oxtail soup, turtles, and matzo balls too, and I came away concluding that my turtle boy days were through. Though I've never heard of them before, don't know if they're a critter or a bird, next week I'm gonna round me up a great big matzo herd. Thank you guys so much.
This song's called Round Up My Blues. Wow, that's out. Oh,
Yep, that sounds fun.
no.
Just that one. A little up. Down. Down to the other. No, go up on that. Now to the next string. No, the one before. Here,
You're very complicated, actually.
okay, I think that sounds.
That's pretty good.
Okay.
I'm gonna round up my blues and try to lose all my troubles and woe. I'm gonna brand them one by one, start them on the run. down the trail, watch him go. I'm gonna round up my joy, and all the boys chase all Mr. Blues today. Say we ride for miles, running up straight smiles, driving my blues away. I'm gonna round up my blues and try to lose all my troubles and woe. I'm gonna brand them one by one, start them on the run. Down the trail, watch them go. I'm gonna round up my joy, and all the boys chase old Miss Blues today. Say we ride for miles, riding up straight smiles, driving the blues away. Say we ride for miles, riding up straight smiles, driving the blues away. This song's called If I Can Only Learn to Yodel. I'm thinking tonight while the moon's shining bright of the boy that I adore. But he won't have me, that is plain to see, and it hurts me more and more. He says he's in love with the yodeling gal from the hills of Tennessee, and she won his heart with the yodeling. If I could only learn to yodel and lay, it's easy, they say, to go yodel with the yodeling. That little old shack that's calling me back to the place where I belong. But I must admit that it just won't fit with that boy that stood me wrong. So I'm packing my grip and I'll be on my way to the land that's calling me. And you want his heart with the yodelody, yodelody. If I could only learn to yodel and lay, it's easy, they say, to go yodel with the yodelady, yodelody. It's easy, they say, to go yodel with the yodelady, yodelody. Thank you.
Well, for my last song, this one's got a bit of a story to it. Back when I lived in Texas, we had an arena that'd wash out. And every time it'd wash out, there'd be these pits and stuff I'd have to fill back in. Well, inside these pits, I found all sorts of treasures. I found petrified wood, some old medicine bottles, and some of my greatest finds was an 1800 saddle horn and 3 broken bits. Well, I decided to write a song about it, because where I lived, it was out in the middle of nowhere on an 80-acre ranch. So this is what came out of it. Rusted parts of metal, pieces from the past, telling me a story of the hand that had the last. An 1800 saddle horn, some busted bridle bits. Oh, I wonder just what made him leave him here like this. Could it have been a gunfight on a sunny afternoon? His ride caught in the crossfire of a showdown at high noon. Could it have been starvation? No rain for months on end. They left his pony 2 days weak to carry him again. Rusted parts of metal, pieces from the past, telling me a story of the hand that had the last. An 1800 saddle horn, some busted bridle bits. Oh, I wonder just what made him leave him here like this. Through the years I'm waiting, buried in sand, these old saddle memories left here by that man. They've lingered in the dust, and they sang a lonesome song just when voices from the past, telling me a story of a cowboy that didn't last. Thank you all so much.
I go to public school, and a couple weeks ago we got out for summer break, and it's been really nice being able to go work on ranches and whatnot. And a friend of mine who probably knows how much more I'd rather be out riding a horse than in school wrote me this poem, Cowboy Education. It seems like only yesterday school was out for spring semester. It seems like only yesterday school was out for spring semester. Now it's the first. I'm gonna restart again. It seems like only yesterday school was out for summer. Now it's the first day of fall semester. What a bummer. As I climb up onto the school bus, I can't help but stare at the corrals. I just wave goodbye to my horse as he swats flies with his tail. My best cowdog, who's been with me each and every day, tucks his tail and turns his head. He doesn't understand why I have to go away. Scattered out across the pasture, the cattle are starting to graze. They have no idea that I'll be gone for so many days. Even though they were a little stirred up back at branding time, with a little effort and feed, they're right back to friends of mine. In class, I stare at my books, but I'm really thinking of the ranch, of my cows, horses, the warm sunshine. I look out the window, hoping for a glance. Just a quick glance, that's all I need. How I want to be horseback, checking waters and putting out feed. My teacher says, snap out of it. You'll never make graduation. I just smile, tip my hat, and say, ma'am, it seems that school is interfering with my cowboy education. Thank you guys so much.
If you guys know the song, sing along. I'm pretty sure you do. It's called Happy Trails. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Who cares about the clouds when we're together? Just sing a song and bring the sunny weather. Happy trails to you till we meet again. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Who cares about the clouds when we're together? Just sing a song and bring the sunny weather. Happy trails to you till we meet again. Who cares about the clouds when we're together? Just sing a song and bring the sunny weather. Happy trails to you till we meet again. Thank you guys so much.
Well, thank you all so much for coming. We had a great time, and I think Phoebe has some CDs on the back table, so check those out on your way out.
Thank you.